Hello everyone, once again welcome to the biology class. Myself Shanawaz. Students, as in the previous part we have discussed about the phylum Platyhelminthes. In today's video we are going to discuss the one more phylum, that is phylum Aschelminthes. Students, what are the important characteristics of this phylum? That we will discuss one by one here. Basically, Aschelminthes, the word is derived from the German word Eschos. Eschos means what here, students? Cavity. Cavity is going to be there. And helminthes means what here? Worms, as you already know. Okay. So Eschos is nothing but cavity. So Aschelminthes. So the animals are the worms which have cavity in them. Okay. Let's some of the introductory part of the Aschelminthes here. So these Aschelminthes are about 15,000 species are present on the earth. How many species are there, students? 15,000. Okay. So the word Aschelminthes was given by Groben in the year of 1910. Students, basically what happens? The Aschelminthes, the first Aschelminthes word was given by the scientist Groben in the year of 1910. Okay. But earlier it was named as Nemathihelminthes. Nemathihelminthes, students. As Nemathihelminthes means what here? Thread-like worms. Thread-like worms are the worms which looks like a thread. Okay, as normally the name only indicating thread-like worms. This Nemathihelminthes was given by the scientist Gegenbaur. Gegenbaur is already, you know, that the previous Platyhelminthes name was given by Gegenbaur only. The same Aschelminthes, after that Nemathihelminthes word also given by, means Nemathihelminthes was there. Previously Aschelminthes was named as Nemathihelminthes and it was given by Gegenbaur in the year of 1859. But later on, by seeing its morphological features and all, the Groben has changed its name from Nemathihelminthes to the Aschelminthes. And even these Aschelminthes are also called as what? Nematoda. Nematoda. So they are even also called as what, students? Nematoda. Okay. Now these animals are popularly known as what? Roundworms, threadworms, or even they are also called as what? True worms. So this is what about the introductory part of the phylum Aschelminthes. So let's look on its general characteristics. What important characteristics it is going to show, students, here. They are mostly aquatic. Students, moreover, the animals of these Aschelminthes, maybe most of them are going to be aquatic, living inside the water. Some of them even are free living, means freely living on the land also as well as in the water also. And some of them are parasitic. As we have seen in the Platyhelminthes, some of the animals are going to live in the host body. In the same way, even these group of animals may also see some of the animals which live in a host body as a parasite. These are even triploblastic, having 3 germ layers: outer ectoderm, inner endoderm, middle mesoderm. Bilateral symmetry, body can be cut into 2 equal halves, and unsegmented. There are no segments are going to be found. Even there is no false segments are going to be found, as in the Platyhelminthes we have seen. Okay, in the class Cestoda we have seen some of the animals have false segments, but these animals do not have any segments on their body. Okay, they are pseudocoelomate. Students, this word you have to remember here. There is a cavity is going to be present, but it is been not lined by mesoderm. So such type of cavity is called as what? False cavity, false coelom, or pseudocoelomate animals, as we can say, students. Okay, so the gut wall and the body wall is being not lined by mesoderm. Such type of cavity is considered as what? Pseudocoelomate. Okay, now false coelom also it is been called. They have a organ level of organization. Basically their body is made up of some number of organs, and it is going to be performed, some of the functions are being performed by the organs itself. Body is cylindrical, tapered at both ends. Tapered means what? Going to be blunt ends, we can say, from both the ends it is going to be seen. And the body is being surrounded by cuticle, means cuticularized means what here, students? Cuticle is composed of scleroproteins means the body of these Aschelmanthus is made up of cuticle. So body surface is made up of cuticle, and that cuticle is basically made up of what here? Scleroprotein. So what exactly the use of this cuticle? Cuticle is a protective covering, students. It is been protecting its body as it bears the spines or scales on the body surface. So these Aschelmanthus are going to have a body surface, body is covered by cuticle, and that cuticle may bear the spines or the scales to protect its body from the external surrounding. Okay, and other forms of ornamentation means some of the design you can see on the body surface is going to be present to protect its body, students, protecting the animals. One important thing from the Aschelmanthus, this is one of the peculiar characters we can see inside the Aschelmanthus, as cuticle changed 4 times during the growth period. So whenever this Aschelmanthus is growing, during that time its cuticle is going to be shed off. Its cuticle is going to be released out 4 times during its growth period. That release of shedding of that what do you call cuticle, the shedding of cuticle is called as what? Ecdysis, or we can say also molting. Ecdysis or molting it is being called, students. Okay, so this is what about the cuticle. Now both respiratory and circulatory systems are totally absent, students. Respiration and circulation. So respiration is a gaseous exchange, it may take place through the body surface, and circulation, as it do not going to have any blood system and all, as its body all the body nutrients will be supplied with the help of some group of cells, like what you can say the parenchyma cells we can consider. Okay, now excretion is done by protonephridia, as in the previous Platyhelminthes also we have seen flame cells were there, where here there are specific protonephridia are the group of cells or organ we can say which is going to help in excretion of this group of animals, students. Now digestive system is complete with muscular pharynx. Digestive system means what, students, here? As the alimentary canal we can say is a complete, means it is going to have 2 separate openings, one is mouth, another one is anus. Okay, so 2 separate openings are being found in this group of animals with muscular pharynx. What is the use of muscular pharynx? It is a throat of these Aschelmanthus which pull, or what you can say which pushes the food so that it can be get crushed down. Okay, so this is a muscular pharynx. It is like a throat of these what you call Aschelmanthus which is going to pushes the food, students. They are all unisexual, remember this, unisexual. Unisexual, the another word we use what, students, here for unisexual, that is dioecious. Dioecious means they are single sex animals. Sexes are being completely separate and they show what here? Sexual dimorphism. What exactly the word sexual dimorphism means? Okay, see here. Here sexual dimorphism is nothing but male and female can be identified by its external body features. As you can see, male Ascaris is smaller than female Ascaris, and male Ascaris has what here? Curved tail. As you can see, the male Ascaris has a curved tail and the female is going to be elongated in shape. Okay, so in male cloaca is present, in female it is absent, students. So what is cloaca? See, students, here cloaca. Cloaca is anus and genital aperture opens in a common passage. Means anus and genital aperture. Anus means which is going to remove the nitrogenous waste or the waste materials. Genital aperture means what? Where the gametes are releasing. This anus and genital aperture opens in a common passage. That is going to be called as a cloaca, where this cloaca is present in the male, whereas in female this genital aperture is different and the anus is different. That 2 separate openings are going to be found in this. That's what this cloaca is totally absent in the female. So by this way we can identify whether it is male or female, students. Okay, this is what you can say about the sexual dimorphism. Next thing is what, students, here they reproduce sexually. Obviously the sexes are separate. It means what, it is going to show what here, sexual reproduction. Internal fertilization is being seen. Internal fertilization, as the fusion of male and female gamete is taking place inside the body students, where they may be direct or indirect development. Means what, there is a larval stage, may be seen, may not be seen. Now the whatever the eggs which are being produced by these Aschelmanthus are covered by chitinous shells. Students, eggs which are being released by these Aschelmanthus will be protected by, covered by this what you call chitinous shells are there, which is going to protect basically the eggs. So this is what all about the general characteristics of this phylum Aschelmanthus. Students, let's have some of the examples for these Aschelmanthus. Like what here, these examples are even mentioned in your NCERT textbook. Ascaris, which is commonly called as what here, roundworms. Wuchereria, which is commonly called as what, filarial worms. And Ancylostoma, which is even also called as what, students, here, hookworm. So these are the some examples for the what you call phylum Aschelmanthus. Students, I hope you all understood the concept regarding about the phylum Aschelmanthus and its all general characteristics. If you like my videos, please hit the like button, and thank you for watching my videos. Thank you. Thanks a lot.